Hello, everyone. Welcome to Players of Games. I'm going to be your host again, William Julian, and today with me I have Brandon.
Howdy, everyone.
And today we're going to talk about an old but great game, Left 4 Dead. Now, Brandon, you have a lot of experience with Left 4 Dead, I believe?
Oh, yeah, a whole lot.
Alright, so let's start off. Let's talk about the characters. Who is your favorite character?
Well, before we jump on the favorite character, I want to first clarify a few things. So, we're talking about Left 4 Dead in general, so we're going to be talking about Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, but a lot of this is going to be based on Left 4 Dead 2, since Left 4 Dead 1 has omitted features, and that would change a few things, but we're going to be bringing out everything, so that's why we're going to mostly focus on Left 4 Dead 2. So, jumping into favorite character, my favorite character is Bill Overbeck. I love that guy. He is a stalwart character. He is someone that a lot of the other survivors look up to. He's old and rusty, but he's going to get the job done and he's going to do it right. And he's a war vet, so he's seen the action before. What about you? What's your favorite character?
I would have to say mine is probably Lewis. I don't know the game as well as you do, and I don't know the characters as well, but probably one of the main reasons I like Lewis is that he makes Francis feel nervous.
Ah, yes, Francis, the intimidating biker.
Who,
It's
for
great.
yeah, he for some reason thinks Lewis is crazy or something.
Yes, there are some really great lines between Francis and Lewis, especially when they talk about Francis being afraid of islands. He has islandophobia, but he's really just afraid of water. But like Lewis is, that's like one of the few times Lewis gets on Francis's side and he tries to cheer up Francis and he's like, "Yeah, I don't like islands either. Those punk islands." It's great. That's one of the best lines.
All right, now when you play Left 4 Dead, there are a whole bunch of ways to play it. Tell me, what's your favorite game mode when playing Left 4 Dead?
So this is a hard question for me to answer. For the longest time, I was obsessed with versus, and I like to say that versus is probably one of the most interesting ways to play Left 4 Dead, probably one of the biggest draws and appeals to Left 4 Dead. But the game mode I've been playing most recent, and the one I feel is my true favorite, is campaign online. So you've got you and three other buds, and you're just going through the game, just like you would in single player. But now you have all of the interesting dynamics that come about when you have, four chickens with their heads cut off. But what about you? What's your favorite game mode?
I Now my favorite game mode isn't an official game mode. It's a homebrew game mode that me and you and a group have been playing, and I think like you created or something.
Yes, I created it with one of our friends, and it was back on, I believe Plantation was the first map that we did it, and it was how far can you jump before you die? And we would jump from the turret gun off the plantation and see who could get the furthest distance. It was a great, great mini game that we put inside Left 4 Dead, and to this day, the spirit of jumping carries on.
On the screen now, you'll probably be seeing an example of this game mode. But yeah, this is my favorite game mode. I love doing it. Usually, you'll do it on I believe it's time trial map.
No, it's a survival, which has the
Survival.
time trial in it.
Okay.
Yep.
That way, it doesn't start until you decide it starts, and you can just immediately go and try this thing.
Yes, it's one of my favorite mini games too. But favorite game mode for me is truly campaign.
Well, speaking of campaign, since you played through them, I believe a lot, which map is probably your favorite?
Everybody's gonna rip on me for picking this one, but my favorite map is No Mercy. I just adore No Mercy. Um, it's a very streamlined progression for how you travel through the map, but there are just nuances that are so genius when Valve and Turok Studio were creating the game and how they implemented that. Because No Mercy is probably one of the most claustrophobic of the maps. It has very forced choke points, corridors, and alleyways. And these have some really great nuances for versus mode. But on top of that, it's like if you play No Mercy and the first time you see a tank, and I was one of the original players, like I started this when Left 4 Dead 1 first came out. Um, the first time you meet a tank, you're going to be walking around a corner and it's smack dab in your face. Some of those other maps, you can see it coming, but No Mercy, it really, you get intimate with the infected in No Mercy.
I would have to say that my favorite map is actually probably Hard Rain.
Oh yes, Hard Rain.
And the reason I like it is because of its mechanic. That when it starts to really pour and the rain comes down harder and harder, that's when more infected come out and start attacking you. But it also stops your vision and makes it hard to see and continue. I just like the mechanic. That's the reason I like it so much.
That mechanic's like dual edge genius. So when the rain starts pouring, you're almost forced into a mentality where you want to be close to your group. You lose all sight. It's actually very similar to when you play the hardcore version of the game. So you lose like your HUD information and all of that. And it's very similar in Hard Rain. I like how they did that. And the fact that you're gonna have a horde guaranteed on top of you is just, feel for that fire and really sets the mood.
Well, off of that, we're now going to talk about our favorite infecteds. Yes, we may be killing them, but that doesn't mean we can't favor certain ones.
And sometimes we are them.
Indeed. So, Brandon, for you, who is your favorite special infected?
Oh, so I feel it's unfair to say Charger, and the reason I would originally say Charger is because you can almost guarantee to do a little bit of damage with a Charger if you do the cheese melee slap and then your charge attack. But I think the special infected that I've had the most joy out of playing, like it's just so rewarding to get these maneuvers off, is the smoker. So being able to like glitch pull a survivor over a crate and then off an edge into the abyss, oh, it feels so good. Or lining up the smoker with the charger so they can knock them off the map. It's just beautiful. Smoker is a game player. It's a team player and a game player, and they set the team up for success, and I just love that about Smoker.
I gotta say my favorite's probably the Spitter. Especially when you're doing the versus modes, playing infected versus people. I like to be able to do the Spitter and aim a good shot right where it matters most for them to be, and just hearing those tings and them getting that damage.
Guaranteed damage, baby!
But yeah, that's why I like it.
I want to do a brief shout out. I got a favorite common infected that I want to say, and my favorite common infected is Jimmy Gibbs Jr., the man and the legend. He is a great common infected, and some people never even see him. They play the game, and they never even witness the greatness of Jimmy Gibbs Jr.
Well, talking about killing zombies all this time, we need to go probably to the most important part, which is talking about the guns.
That's right. And we should talk about our favorite primary gun that is tier 1 first. Start the ball off where the game starts.
Alright, so what is your tier 1 favorite weapon then?
100% favorite is going to be silenced SMG. I love the crowd control that comes with the automatic weapon, having 50 shots, as well as the silenced SMG being just a little bit less likely to draw aggro from infected, and being a little bit better, in my opinion, based on the spray pattern, on getting headshots. I think those things just give silenced SMG the edge over being able to crown witches with a shotgun in the early game.
I gotta agree. I like the silenced SMG. I've tried a few of the other weapons. I just like... The main thing is I like the control that the SMG has. Whereas, like, if you start with the Uzi, it just sprays all over the place, and it's harder to control where the bullets go.
Yeah.
But off of that, that's only first tier. What's your favorite second tier?
So my favorite primary gun for my second tier weapon, I'm going to give it to the AK. I know there's a lot of people who are going to give it to the AK. In normal difficulty, you can one-shot pretty much all common infected. It's got really good damage. It has really good accuracy over distance. It's got a decent amount of ammo per clip, and it just packs a punch. It's good at dealing with every problem you face. Now, I want to give a shout out to the tactical shotgun. If the AK wasn't in the game, I'd definitely pick the tactical shotgun as my favorite. That instantaneous damage that you're going to be able to pump out in a short amount of time with the tactical shotgun is really, really nice, especially when you're dealing with crowning a witch or a tank or a charger or a jockey that just jump around the corner. Shotgun it.
And I gotta say the same thing. I like the AK-47. Again, it's that control over everything else. And in a game like this, you need that control. Because you need to make sure you know where your bullets are going. Because if you don't, you're dead. You could say that you'd be Left 4 Dead. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I'm sure no one in this chat has ever been Left 4 Dead before. So now the best question: what's your favorite secondary weapon?
Well, there's almost no question about it. Each secondary weapon has its faults, has its big opportunities. Of course, there's the Magnum. That would probably be my second favorite secondary. But I would have to say my favorite secondary is the Katana. Has the best...
Katana?
Bless you.
Yes.
The Katana, out of all the melee weapons, has the best reach, has a good amount of zing to it, has good...
It's got some pretty quick hit time, too.
Yeah. I mean, for memes, I would say the frying pan, but it's gotta be the Katana for going all serious.
See, if we were talking about TF2, going frying pan all the way. But, yeah, I gotta back you up there. I love that Katana. The Katana just looks so good, it cuts so good, it feels so good, and its reach is great. So I adore the Katana as my secondary. If it's ever there, I immediately am gonna pick it up. I don't care if there's a Magnum. I don't care if there's a frying pan. Gonna get me that Katana.
Now, probably the less interesting part of this, what would you say is your favorite health item?
Okay, so I feel it varies a little bit depending on your game mode, but if we're talking about just overall favorite, I gotta say my favorite is pills, and that's for the memes. So all of you guys who played Left 4 Dead when it originally came out, you know the pills memes. Everybody knows Lewis's obsession with pills. We all know why Lewis is a freak, but he's the best freak. He's the freak that we want, and he's got them pills. And you know, while adrenaline's great, I use it all the time when I'm speed running. You just can't beat the tried and true original of the pills.
And I gotta say, lately, I've been using the pills a lot. I remember you telling me how they're helpful in tight situations, especially like when you're speedrunning, that they're quick to down, they give you a good boosted amount of health, at least for the time being, and can get you from moving slowly to moving quick. And it's
especially when
a
tank's on top of you.
Yeah. Gotta say, though, I'm more into those health packs. I'm always losing health all the time, and I need full health. I'm no good with little amounts of health.
Yeah, and hey, you know, health pack, it's one of the few items that you can use when you're transitioning from one room to the next and immediately use it in a second. So you can use a health pack as quick as pills as long as you're in a safe room and you've shut the door.
And then, of course, there's doing the workshop things and making them more interesting. Like, I have a Baymax mod that asks me to rate my pain whenever I use the health pack.
Oh yeah, everybody loves Baymax. Let's move on to the throwable. We got three options. We can either pick from our pipe bomb, a trusty Molotov, or our ever endearing bio bomb.
I would have to say mine is the pipe bomb. I like the control it gives you as a character, that it can attract infected without summoning more. It's reliable for common infected whenever you're getting swarmed.
So for me, you know, I love being a pyromaniac from time to time. And I love causing explosions with the pipe bomb and drawing aggro of the common infected. But at the end of the day, the bio bomb is going to allow me to do one of the things I love to do, which is speed run maps. And when you throw down that bio bomb, it's gonna keep those common infected busy for a while. On top of the fact that you can, control the common infected to do damage to special infected, including the tank or even the witch. But let me tell you, you probably should use the Molotov if you're going to use a throwable on the witch.
And the tank.
Yeah, yes. Always burn tanks unless they swim. Then don't.
Now, what about using a bio bomb on the tank instead of a Molotov?
So the biobomb only lasts for a certain amount of time, but it will do damage even if the tank goes through water. So that situation where the tank is moving in a map where it can get into water will make the Molotov not as useful, but the Molotov will still do a decent amount of damage. The big plus to the biobomb is the damage that it can cause with area control.
Okay.
And biobomb isn't necessarily the best weapon to use if you just want to destroy everything in your path. Biobomb is the best weapon to use to position yourself for success.
Okay. I can see that working.
All right, but now we move on to a very interesting question. The favorite item that you can pick up, throw around, and use it however you want. So, what's your favorite pickup weapon?
Well, most of the time in a map, you don't get too many choices. Most often, you'll find a gas tank, and you can carry it around, hit zombies with it. But, of course, the greatest and best pickup item you can ever get in the game is Noam Chomsky.
Our Lord and Savior.
Now, I'm not as familiar with the game modes as you, so I think I only know of one place you can get Noam Chomsky, which is in the Dark Festival.
Yes, Dark Carnival. So the only place that you can officially get Noam Chomsky in the canonical maps is the Dark Carnival, and you get him in playing the shooting mini game with Pistachio, and you can carry him throughout the whole map, and he is the greatest gnome a man could ever want. He will guard your lawn and your lives.
Does Noam Chomsky have any other purpose other than just to be carried?
He can give you an achievement, and he looks the best. So there's no reason why you shouldn't carry a Noam Chomsky.
Now, we've kind of skirted around it, but we have one important question. We've been saying about how much you've played this game and such, but why do you like Left 4 Dead so much?
So, Left 4 Dead is one of those games. There's a very few selection of them, but for me, Left 4 Dead is one of those games where I can always come back to it and play it. There's no day where I'm just like, I'm not feeling Left 4 Dead. I can always come back to Left 4 Dead and play it. And it's got that feeling that certain arcade games do, like Pac-Man and Space Invader. The gameplay is so simple. You're just getting from point A to point B. But how you get from point A to point B is you drawing your masterpiece, laying work your canvas. You can do whatever you want within the physics engine to get from A to B. And it's just so interesting. Even when there's limited options, especially on No Mercy, there's only a few paths you can take. The AI director is constantly changing up the gameplay, where the tanks spawn, where the witch is going to be, when the hordes attack. It's going to keep you on your toes. Even if you learn the game inside out like me and you know a lot of the spawn areas, you're never going to be certain about certain things. So you're always critically analyzing your decisions, and you're always making decisions on the fly. It's going to constantly keep you on your feet while you're getting from A to B. And it just does it so simplistically that you can you can have very little experience in the game, and you might not know exactly where to go, but the game does a decent job at leaving graffiti and signs that point you in the direction. And some maps are small enough that, you don't have too many options. You know which way you're going, but there's always options. It always gives you a few options. And
Honestly, it doesn't.
yeah.
It kind of surprises me, just realistically and all, with all the graffiti saying where you need to go. And I just keep thinking, someone actually stopped to point this out. And they also, why didn't they grab all the stuff that was in the safe room?
Well, I mean, so the biggest question around is how do you carry that much ammo?
Yeah.
Better question, how is there ammo that never ends? But now we're getting into game logic, and we don't want to argue game logic here. However, another thing that I really want to touch on why I love Left 4 Dead so much is it's oozing with character. Its atmosphere, the environments, the characters you play and their dialogue tells you so much. Yet the game doesn't force feed you anything. It's all naturally happening, which I find is ironic. A lot of people talk about the ingenuity that the Dark Souls franchise brought about with its storytelling. But the thing is, that kind of storytelling's been around for a while, and Left 4 Dead is, one of those games that was doing it well before Dark Souls. Environmental storytelling is a beautiful concept, and Left 4 Dead does it very, very well. You can completely ignore it if you don't care about the story, or you can really get entranced into where the survivors are. Each of those campaign maps actually has a chronological progression, but the game doesn't tell you that. You would have to learn that by playing it, listening to the audio cues, and doing your own investigative research. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. The atmosphere, the simplicity of getting from A to B. I just love that about Left 4 Dead. On top of the music's pretty darn good. And audio cues, you could tweak the loudness of some of them, but that's arguable. Certain people might have not as good hearing, so you want it loud enough so they don't miss the cues. And you can tweak the stuff in the game, but if you're just playing it naturally, you're going to usually have your game audio down a lot more than your game music volume is going to be. But yeah, just Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 1. I still play them both, but preference to Left 4 Dead 2 because everybody loves melee weapons. Katana. Also, I wouldn't have Noam Chomsky without Left 4 Dead 2.
That's very true. I gotta say that I like Left 4 Dead mainly because it is a nice, I'd almost say stress reliever. It's a game where you don't always have to think a whole lot. It's a game I can go to when I'm feeling like doing a first-person shooter, but I'm not interested in all the drama of working with other people.
Ironically, because who needs cooperative gameplay in Left 4 Dead? Speedrunners for the win.
But yeah, that's the main reason I like Left 4 Dead. Just being able to jump in, do some first-person shooting, shoot a whole bunch of zombies. Of course, I like to have my mods on, so it's not as gruesome for me. Instead of shooting regular zombies, I'm always shooting droids from Star Wars.
Yeah, some people are shooting Teletubbies. I think we skipped over one thing, and that's the we probably touched about it a little bit when we were talking about our mini game, but the fluidity of motion in Left 4 Dead is really, really nice, and you can see it in a number of the Steam-based games, or rather, games made by Valve.
Mm-hmm.
The motion of the characters is very, very fluid, and on top of that you have a lot of control over it. Certain platformers, characters slide and whatnot. Stopping can feel inconsistent. Some games, when you do your attacks, it draws it so your character moves in a designated animation. But Left 4 Dead, nothing forces you in a certain situation with your movement. You have full control over your movement the entire game, and as long as you hold the infected off from hitting you, you're constantly going to move at your maximum speed, and your speed is pretty much just straight linked to if you're taking damage or if you have green health, yellow health, or red health. Those are your three different categories for what movement speed you have. On top of that, now a lot of the movement glitches have been patched out, but there's a few of them that you can still do in the game. Being able to fall from a deadly height or a incapacitating height, but trying to pick up a fellow survivor who's already incapacitated will reduce fall damage, because that's one of the few things that has a locked animation in the game, the picking up a survivor animation. And this actually changes your movement speed because the animation starts playing. So you actually jitter in the air, which reduces the calculated gravitational fall speed. At a certain point, you hit what the game's determined at maximum velocity, and that would immediately kill your character.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you can use one of those glitches in No Mercy. At the beginning, at the spawn point, you can basically skip the whole building you have to first go
Pretty
through.
much skip half the map with that one. There used to be a glitch in No Mercy as well, where you could actually go around on the ledge of one of the buildings and walk across over where that police car is parked, and you could just come down over the fence there. Or heck, you could actually walk off the map and hide in one of the buildings that are literally outside the map. There used to be a lot of great glitches that were patched out of the game. I understand why they were patched out of the game. People who are playing the game the way the game was intended to be played, the glitches usually get in the way. But I have played Left 4 Dead so long, I know so many of those glitches, and I loved those glitches. And what disappoints me is that the Lighthouse map for survival, which had tons of glitches in it, oh man, I loved it. They never ported it to the PC version. It's only on the, if I recall, Xbox version. Maybe it's on the console, all of the console ones, but I'm pretty sure it's just the Xbox version of Left 4 Dead 1. And man, I loved the glitches on that map. There was a tree glitch. There was the double rock glitch where you would be right on the cliff. There was an actual glitch where you could get partially down the cliff and get yourself stuck up there. There's this that's right. They got rid of that survival map. It used to actually be on the PC version. There was a survival map for Dark Harvest. It was inside the train station where there's the coal freights and whatnot, and you were actually able to get up on top of the building and get into the skybox, and you'd basically never be attacked by infected. Anyways, it's guarantee you the gold medal. But they got rid of that map. Man. There's so many cheeky glitches. One of the great glitches, all-time infamous glitches, is the dead air crane survival map glitch, where you could do a few certain jumps and hops while having someone pick you up from wall. It's a wall fall incapacitation, and a partner would pick you up and it would glitch you over to the ledge of a window, and then you could fall onto an invisible edge and get down to the city streets. And from there you could get off the map and you could, gold medal yourself. A lot of these glitches though got, patched out, and they were great.
Yeah.
Cheeky, unfair, but great.
Indeed. And with that actually brings us to a close of another episode. So thank you everyone for joining. In the comments below, tell us what you like about Left 4 Dead, who your favorite infected is, what your favorite weapon is. Maybe leave a suggestion of what we should talk about next. In the description below, there will be a link to our previous video. Brandon, anything to add?
Don't forget, everyone. Remember.
Great words of wisdom. Anyway.
Noam Chomsky. Remember Noam Chomsky, everybody. Good night.
All right. Thank you, and see you later.